Hey everyone, welcome back to District 6 Covered. Going a little drive here, but thoughts and processes of how do you get your spouse to become a prepper is the key of the video here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, see what your guys' thoughts are. And you guys probably have a lot of good comments that you can put down below to also help with assisting people that may be in need. So this video is basically set up for someone that's maybe looking for ways to figure out what I would consider proper ways to turn someone into a prepper, if that's so much even possible. But I think you gotta have, basically, you gotta educate your spouse and do it tactfully, where you're not overly aggressive about, trying to scare tactic them or whatever the case is. There's a lot of things that'll help motivate people into becoming preppers, whether they want to use the word prepper or not. I think Doomsday Prepper has definitely killed the word prepper in the regards of it being kind of a crazy people, Looney Tune, super conspiracy minded, anti-government kind of deal. But there's been a lot of good videos on Doomsday Prepper that some of the people have some good ideas, and but the problem is, I think everybody remembers the crazy ones, the ones that maybe are over the top, maybe a little too loony for their means or their thought process. But if you can just get people to prepare, having a spouse maybe that's not into storing extra food and items like that, or firearms, or ammunition, medical supplies, so on and so forth, it makes it kind of difficult, especially if you guys are running on a thin budget, and she or he may not believe that spending some extra cash, maybe not going to the movies, maybe not going to see a play or whatever, and utilizing that money for better means, say some dehydrated food or whatever, prepping material. But I think a lot of people, especially spouses, kind of heard the phrase, coined it as a little bit of looniness, so they're never really gonna want to use the term prepper. The coin survivalist used to be used a lot more prior to prepper, and it's basically the same thing, being able to survive whatever kind of catastrophe that you may deem as your reason to prep. Whether it's structural collapse, whether it's economic collapse, whether it's EMPs, crazy animals that live in the middle of the earth, whatever it is, all those people that are coined or utilize themselves in the word prepper, to me just means that they're ready for something that may or may not happen. You're never going to go wrong having extra food, extra water, extra ammunition, medical supplies, all that stuff you should basically have anyways. But if you utilize the words like some type of weather, whether it's a tsunami, a hurricane, a tornado, a earthquake, that's stuff that they can grab more realistically. They know, they see those on TV. They don't see zombies running around and getting people, except for TV shows that are portraying zombies. But there's always people that are getting hurt every year because they're not prepared for weather events. Now on the East Coast 2 weeks ago, we had a weather event, and I'm wearing the hood and the gloves. It's freezing out here. It's cold. It's 19 degrees right now, is what the truck says. It's but people died because they got stuck on the side of the road due to snow and ice. And they lost their lives in a vehicle because they weren't prepared. It could be as much as having not enough fuel in your fuel tank. Say you're running, like right now I'm at 3/4 of fuel, and I try to keep it half or above. Try to. Now that doesn't always happen, but when the weather's bad, I want to be able to idle my truck if I'm stuck on the side of the road, you know, maybe for hours until rescue can be had. Now if you're running low and you're not preparing for stuff like that, as simple as just having fuel in your fuel tank, and you go to get a loaf of bread and you get stuck in a snowstorm and you're stuck and you're just basically on the road, but you're unable to get anywhere, and the roads are closed off and there's not anybody driving around because of the weather, you may be waiting there a while. So having a phone charger, I mean, these people, I believe it to be 43 people, I'm not for sure on that number, passed away due to snow. And I know they weren't all in the cars and all in the vehicles, but we'll just use just the vehicles for this conversation. Maybe one simple thing like their phone went dead and they could have called 911. Maybe they were in an area that they had plenty of cell service, but they slid off into the embankment of snow and they weren't able to call 911 because their battery had died. Maybe something that simple could have saved one of their lives. So trying to get back. Oops. You guys were on the floor there for a minute. I'm just videoing this from my phone. But trying to get back to how you turn someone into a prepper is that simple. You tell them the simple stories, the non-scary ones at first, about, hey, honey, can you believe that 43 people passed away? You know, and some of those people were in cars. And it could have been prevented very easily, having, you know, maybe their fuel tank filled up, maybe having a phone charger inside their car, maybe having some blankets, some food, some water in their vehicles, some snacks, just simple prepping items that you should have anyways, in my mind. Maybe those little items right there could have saved a couple people. Maybe not everybody. You know, I'm sure some homeless people that were out in the middle of 2 feet of snow trying to survive, that's tough, especially if you don't have anything, you know, besides cardboard boxes and stuff like that. Not being able to get out of the weather, the extreme weather is, it's definitely a dangerous thing. It's no joke. So, but utilize that information, like I said, the non-scary stuff, right? Not the whole crazy, not so much that it's crazy, but don't give them the crazy conspiracy stuff and expect them to believe what you're saying or agree with what you're saying, because that's going to be harder for them to digest as far as input coming in. So I think the simple way is to massage nice and slow the thought process of how you feel, the reasons why it can't hurt. It's like, hey honey, you know, how are they going to complain to you when it's like, why can't I have an extra blanket in the back of the car? I mean, what's the point? Why not? Do you have an issue with it? Why not have a few bottles of bottled water or some food, some snacks, a flashlight, you know, and all that kind of stuff? It's a lot easier to convince them. Convince them of how important it is that you want to take care of them even when you're not around, and that if I leave these items in the car, I'm going to feel better about you going out, and if something happens, I'm going to know that you have some of the items. And then with some of those items, they may be non-technical to you. Maybe it's just as easy as some little portable stove, right, to generate some heat, or some dry fuel cells. But showing them how it works and how to utilize it. Maybe the flashlights, you know, not leaving the batteries in or putting a piece of plastic in there is very important, so that your battery doesn't go bad when you actually need to use the battery in your flashlight. Tell them about that. Tell them, hey, you know, if you want to use this flashlight, you're going to have to screw the end of the cap off, pull the piece of plastic out, and that way the contact will connect and the light will work. just being able to go through all the simple stuff is definitely going to help. But with that said, I've been rambling on for a long time now. You guys have a great day. Remember, is your 6 covered? And please put some comments down below. Maybe you guys have thought of better ways or some additional ways that can help people out that read the comments. I know a lot of people read the comments. I enjoy reading the comments. Not even so much to my videos, but also to different people's videos, just to get an idea of other ways, maybe better ways to get the point across. So, you guys, with that, you have a great day. Remember, is your 6 covered? Stay warm. It's freaking cold. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.